That last video went longer than I had anticipated it going. I apologize for that. I rendered this image. Remember, we set it up like fall equinox, 8:30 p.m. and it was totally dark. So I backed it up. Ended up running it at 4:30 p.m. Okay, but this is kind of the image that I was looking for. It's kind of dusk. You can see the background. It says few clouds. It's kind of gray, but it is kind of dark. But now let's look at lights. And the lights are, since we're in a 3D view overall, it has every light in the house on. But I want to create some lighting groups, and everything from here down is in the kitchen. So I'm going to create a lighting group. I'm going to call it kitchen. And then I'm going to select, I don't know, can I get them all? Yeah, hold down the shift key, click the last one, and I'm going to go move to kitchen. Okay. And now these are all, we can turn them on or off, okay, either as a group or individually. Okay, we can dim them, and the dimming is 0 to 1, 1 being fully on, 0 being fully off. And so you can dim them as a group or as individuals. Okay. Now, one thing about windows, and let me go back to the model. Oh, I got to cancel out this. Okay, let's look at our window, and we'll be dealing with this in your project, in that the material in the window, you can have some changes to it here. The reflectivity of it, the transparency of it, things like that. Okay, so this is listed as clear, glazing. So we should be able to see through it and have light show through it. When we deal with the project that you'll be doing these 2 weeks, we have to edit the window material in order for light to show through it. And that might be a similar issue with this. So let's go back into our render. And I'm going to run this one. I don't think it's going to make any changes because I didn't turn any lights on or oh, I didn't turn any lights on or off. So I'm going to run it real quick like. Yeah, you can't see any lighting coming out through the window there. These lights are on, but they're really difficult to see right now. So let's go to the interior view here. And let's change it over to realistic. Okay, and let's go into render. These, I can all turn these off because those are in different rooms. So they won't have any effect on this one. And so, oh, you realize I've got it set for interior, sun, and artificial. So let's render it on a draft mode. Okay, that finished up quicker than I thought. You can see the sun is pretty bright coming in the window. The grass looks kind of weird out there on the horizon, but you can see our ceiling lights up here and the light that they're putting out. Okay, there's a little bit of light right there from the under cabinet light, and there's one right there. Okay, so you can see them coming down. And so we could come back in here. Let's change this to artificial only. And yeah, let's run it like that. Okay, so this gives you a nighttime, view of how things look. And then we could come in. Come on, mouse. We can come in here and adjust our exposure a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit brighter. Okay, and then you can play with your highlights and your shadows. So, I mean, you can play with all of these sliders just a little bit to see how it affects the overall change. Now, one of the things that, if you remember back in 1127 class, sometimes when we rendered on a high setting or best, you got some really weird looking pixelations. And that has to do with the reflectivity of the materials that you're dealing with. So if you're doing this in a job and that happens to you, you have to go in and look at the materials that are causing it to do that. I'm going to pause the video and run this on a high to see how it looks, and then I'll come back. Okay, I ran the render, and it looked kind of pixelated, so I didn't really like it. I came back and changed over to printer 300 dpi. Ran it again, and boy, it took maybe about an hour or so. And it looked pretty good, as you can see here. So changing the resolution of it helped a lot with that. All right, and I saved it to my files. Okay. That was the first one, or that was the original one that I had in the file. You can see it looks a little bit pixelated. There's the second one that I ran, and it looks really bad. And so, I thought I had it open still. I don't know why that won't open. Anyway, so if you've got a bigger project like the one that you're going to work on later in the week, you can change around your lighting groups for different rooms or whatever. You can do interiors, you can do exteriors. You can play with your time of day, things like that. And so we're going to work through a lot of those things. Let's see. I talked about rendering style of the background. There was one thing here about materials that I want to show you. I have never messed with it. So if we open material and let's see. And on the graphics tab, we have our surface pattern. If we go texture alignment, what this does is it does an overlay. I know this will be difficult for you to see, sorry. Had a big yawn there. It does an overlay of the surface pattern, the graphic image here, and the appearance image, and you can adjust these. And I wish I could zoom this up more for you to see, but you'll just have to maybe try it with your own. And the arrows move. See here, it's moving the red, which is the surface image, the surface pattern. And if you noticed, you can see well, I can see a gray or a white vertical line right here, and that's the the vertical lines in the appearance image as opposed to the surface pattern. So it was lined up correctly. Okay, so that's one thing. You can kind of adjust those things. Let's look at a flooring. And if you'll look at these in yours, take a look at it and see. And it looks like with this one, you know, we could move things up maybe a little bit. I'm not asking you to move these things around in your materials catalog. But for you to take a look at it. Another one that was kind of obvious was stone. But I'm not seeing the masonry stone one. Anyway, that is something for you that you can look at, and it is something you can change. You can certainly do, you know, some Google searches. There's a lot of information available on renderings. And I'm going to pause this video now and go back to my notes and see if there's anything else I need to cover before we get into the actual project for this week.